Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Church in Fall River, Mass.
Good morning, and welcome to this beautiful building on this beautiful fall day. I just love this time of the year. I think I probably love every time of the year, but as it comes, I love it more, and then the next one. So, welcome. Now, if you could rise in body or spirit, and announcements, I'm sorry. Yes. Okay, who has announcements?
Different order.
Well, good morning and welcome, Lisa. We're so happy to see you for the first time this program here. It's a busy one, and I'm glad we're able to try it one. And
Always.
I wanted to let everyone know that Ken Reeves will be here next week. I haven't got his elements yet, so I don't know what he's going to be talking about, but he's always quite entertaining. So please do comment. Thank you, Bill. Thank you.
The folks from Temple of Bethel had their first service in this building Friday evening, and then another one Saturday morning. They always do it too. And I have a picture of it on my phone that I'd be happy to show you. How about today? Free lunch.
Still doing the
Yeah. John says that we still collecting donations. Yeah, we are. We probably won't do it beyond Thanksgiving though. Because, the homeless service people get filled with things like that. But we let that activity be our cutoff.
Okay, now you can rise, body or spirit, for our chalice lighting words. We light this chalice. Nancy Schaefer wrote these words, called This Making of a Whole Self. This making of a whole self takes such a very long time. Pieces are not sequential, nor our supplies. We work here, then there, hold up tattered fabric to the light, sew past dark intent, use all our thread. Sleeves may come before length, buttons before a rounded neck, and we sew at what most needs us. And as it asks, we sew again. The self is not one thing, once made, unaltered. It's not midnight task alone, not after other work. It's everything we come upon that we make ours, all this fitting of what once was and has become. Blessed be. Now for our first hymn, please rise. Number 131. Now let us join together for our affirmation. Number 470. We affirm the unfailing renewal of life. We affirm the steady growth of human companionship. We affirm a continuing hope that out of every tragedy, the spirits of individuals shall rise to fill the little book. Now, when you thought you could just relax, we have to do the next one. Our antiphonal reading, which was written also by Nancy Schaefer. It is in your order of service. Kate is teaching the kids about dinosaur air. The kids' eyes are very wide. They take deep gulps of air just to have more dinosaur air inside of them. The kids gulp less, consider the air already inside. The kids look at each other, disbelieving and believing and pointing. You? You? The kids whoop, clap each other on the back. For the rest of the day, they savor air and call each other cousin. Now please rise in body or spirit for our next hymn, number 300. 300. Today is the beginning of our time together this year. It is our first service for the year. Not your first service and not my first service, but our first service. I just want to make that clear. So welcome to our first day of church. Last year at this time, I did a service on beginnings and was enamored with this church's very first history, including Reverend Samuel Longfellow, a notable preacher back in the late 1840s, who was ordained and installed in the old building. A very interesting old building of Gothic revival structure with its its similarity to the roof line. It sat just a few miles from here, and Samuel's brother, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, wrote the hymn for Reverend Samuel's first service. It included these words: Christ to the young man, yet one thing more. If thou wouldst perfect be, sell all thou hast and give it to the poor. And come and follow me within this temple, Christ again unseen, those sacred words hath said, and has invisible hands today have been laid on a young man's head. So way back then, even the congregation was led to a life of service. On today's website, you'll find these words of welcome. We welcome all visitors, friends, old and new, to the Unitarian Church in Fall River. We do not have a doctrine to which all adhere, nor is it finite. We can and should be learning, changing, and exploring. Life teaches or presents us with opportunities and challenges to which we must respond. We need to develop inner strength or personal philosophies to help us live these moments to the fullest of our capabilities. Through a sense of spirit or a spiritual life, we can expand and enhance our time of being. One way to do this is to learn from the wisdom of those who have gone before us, the resources of the ages. Another way is to share our experiences and revelations with our fellow seekers. The end. Our beginning today, the beginning of our church year, is an opportunity, as all beginnings are, to experience something you've never experienced before. This year, you will hear new things from this pulpit, fresh thoughts, ideas will be garnered for you to incorporate as yours or to simply add to conversation. Maybe some calming thoughts will help with the unrest in your thoughts and your lives. Some new people may start coming, or some old people may come back. Beginnings, of course, also bring some of the same. From the years we've shared this space for the first time, this first day and the year to follow will have similarities with other first days and other years. The history is carried forward. With every beginning comes pieces from before. We are breathing the same air as those who came before us, as Nancy Schaefer told her young students in her poem, In the Beginning, where she informs that they are breathing the same air as the dinosaurs and that they are cousins from way back when. And for the rest of the day, they savor the air and call each other cousin. When I saw this church for the first time, I thought, how beautiful, how humble, compared to the medieval castle-like building. Over the years, I've seen, like the building on the outside, the humility and the love on the inside with the people here. A lot of the churches I have worked with have beginnings made up of starts and stops. So yes, they started, the one down in Stores started in somebody's living room and became a small brown building in the middle of the woods. And the one in Hubbardston started and with the back door, with the front door in the back, and they got some oxen to lift up, 6 oxen to lift up the church and turn it around. And then there's another church that I know of that ended up splitting into 2 churches. When all the people wanted to get together and build a church, they realized they had different understandings. So they ended up building a Unitarian church and a Methodist church. So it took a while for these places to be built and settled. And that is true here as well with the 8th principle. The 8th principle, it's on the front of your order of service. We covenant to affirm and promote journeying towards spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions. Now, I don't know if you know of or remember the controversy about 8 years ago when Peter Morales decided to give up his seat as UUA president. He cited the lack of diversity in the leadership of the UUA based on the hiring of a white man to be leader of the southern region of the UUA, passing over a Chicano Latina woman. She was just as qualified. The reasoning for passing her over, she reported, was that she was, and I quote, not the right fit. The new hiree took the place of a white man, and this made, again, this particular leadership council, including their leader, a group of 6 white men. 4 years previous to this, 4 years previous to Morales' resignation, Reverend Paula Cole Jones, then Director of Racial and Social Justice in the Mid-Atlantic region of the UUA, with cohorts Bruce Pollock Johnson, and ultimately a group of people called Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism, or BLUU, who are working to grow connections with congregations for Black Unitarian Universalists, wrote the 8th principle. It is worded purposefully to make the goals specific. As we all know, we have had the desire to diversify our faith and our congregation since the beginning. And specific is the right word. Our other principles say it, but not specifically. not with the exact word. The first principle, the inherent worth and dignity of every person. That includes all people, every color, every culture, every gender. It says it, but without the words. Second principle, justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. Human relations, all humans, says it, but without the words. Sixth principle, the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. World community for all, says it, but without the words. Eighth principle, journeying toward spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community, but by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions. It says it, and with the words, working to build by actions accountably dismantle racism. It's got the word in there, and other oppressions. So more recently, in just the past few years, after stops and starts, we have made the goal of diversification specific with the eighth principle, which was bounced around a lot, but finally added to the other 7. It is official now. It took a while, but I'm not here to pick on the UUA, so I won't. As a matter of fact, even Reverend Morales shared pluses regarding UUA actions at the same time he was resigning. He cited that important changes have been made, for instance, from 2008 to 2017. The population of people of color in leadership roles has increased by 6%. 6%. There was the dedicated work and sacrifices during the civil rights movement with Reverend Dr. King, where not only Reverend King died, but also white Unitarian minister James Reeb died in service to people of color. And in the 70s and 80s, until now, there has been a calling to our congregations and to UUs in general to continue to work for the demolition of all other forms of thinking. In 1980, the UUA commissioned, and I quote from a UU World article, an audit of institutional racism. Since then, our denomination has had a continuous history of committees, commissions, reports, recommendations, projects, programs, and attempts at counteracting racism in our own institutions and communities. And the creation of the anti-racist, anti-oppression, multicultural organization in 1997 resolved us to committing to remember we are imperfect beings, that racism is something almost intrinsic. It is something that is taught, a phenomenon explored in UU Minister Tandeka's book, Learning to be White. In response, we must be aware of the subtle actions and quiet conversations in which our elders directed us towards racism. And I could tell you my own stories about that. So we must strive to do better. We must remind ourselves of our faith beliefs and live them out. We must talk about the work. We must acknowledge the difficulty, yet continue on. We must work together to be open and welcoming. And no matter how we might fall, we must get up again. Because it's not our fault that we think this way. It's not our fault. The energy behind this faded within a few years as it has before and since. We always have good intentions and a strong desire to be accepting and loving is sincere. Yet we miss the mark over and over. When I say we, I mean the whole institution, don't mean we. Because I happen to know that there are lots of individuals who are doing a beautiful job of living out their life of service. And we won't give up. Last year, the addition of the eighth principle was added. And so today we have a new one attached to the other. And this cannot go by the wayside. Is this finally the time? Perhaps the question is, how? I asked a friend what she thought of the eighth principle. She is a 75-year-old, smart, extremely active person, kind, funny, unique. She worked as a social worker all of her life and has been a UU for a very long time. She raised her children in the UU faith. Currently, she works on the board of her UU church and takes care of their community garden. She had heard of the eighth principle, but had to look it up to answer my question. She really didn't know what it was all about. After thinking about it for a while, she asked, is the eighth principle about guilt or making amends? I think that's a great question because it seems like it might be both. She went on to say, and I paraphrase, maybe it's not so much about what happens in the sanctuary, but what happens outside in our lives and as congregations. How about cross-cultural relationships with the local Black church, she asked. How about putting down our hymnals and learning some spirituals to sing for a while? And finally, she asked, see what you have started? Yes, I see. I think we all should start it. Why haven't we been more successful? Why so many stops and starts? I ask myself this question often and ruminate about it a lot, yet I don't have an answer. I don't know. But I do think, like most things, it's a step-by-step process, and it's time now to feel it in the gut. For many years, we've been striving to put things together to encourage action, awareness, intention. It is time to carry this fourth torch forward for all the people who struggled, who cried, and who lost relationships with friends and relatives and neighbors. Those people who were brave enough to make the tough decisions and stick together enough to build another church after the devastating fire in the 1980s. To have a place to gather together, answering their own true beliefs and honor them. And for all the people these days who are losing family members, whose lives are being turned upside down for no apparent reason, for the families of those doing the breaking who are filled with hatred. It's time for that new beginning, because now we have the words clearly in one of our basic pieces of faith, our principle. Our eighth principle. Maybe that's just what we need, are the actual words. We covenant to affirm and promote journeying toward spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions. It's not perfect, but it's there, finally. Reverend Siege Sakurai, the former Special Assistant for Equity, Belonging, and Change with the UUA president until last month, says it well with these words. There is a both and to how we address transformation and justice work. It is about the world around us and the world within us. Rabbi Kushner said, may we as people of faith take today as our time to start again. May we choose joy and generosity over hard-hearted righteousness. May we make today a promise to be our best selves in every context. And when not if, we fail at all those tasks. May we once again open the gift of universalism, just this constant good, this saving hope. May it be so for all of us, unquote. May it be so. Amen. Deep breath. Now it's time to share our joys and concerns.
Well, thanks for that sermon. It was very thoughtful. And I just have to say, I'm not Virginia means, and I think that our administration of our country is so blatantly racist and anti any non-Christian religion. And really became very obvious this week with all that stuff about the Muslim what's the word, there, New York. And I mean, I see in Facebook posts of people saying, oh, now we're going to have Sharia law and it's a really ignorant, racist thing. And we were just listening this morning on one of the news shows about legal skilled Korean workers, who are arrested, arrested and jailed, and then just deported, legal workers. And while they were being detained in the United States, some of them were like pulling at their eyes to get, like violations. And it just seems to be kind of accepted, or not everybody, all of us, kind of accept. They also think that. And I think it's a really good time for us to all focus on that.
Thank you.
So Susan Birch, who sits here and texted me to give her regards, but she's homesick. So she's home, and she's going to start popping up. She's not used to this. She's not here yet.
It was really good to hear you speak as well as you. I'm wondering, like myself, if racism is just a construct that we use to divide each other. Well, mathematics isn't biased, right? So if you have 100 white marbles, and then you remove 10 of those marbles, you replace them with 10 black marbles. And you shake them all up and put them in a jar. And you say, I want to pick 10 marbles, randomly pick 10 marbles. What is the probability you're going to pick a black marble? Now, if you use the binomial theorem, which is what you employ, right, it's pretty small. It's really small. Now, if you repeat that over and over and over and over and over again, right, you're going to get the same result. You're going to get mostly white marbles. You might get one or two. Very seldom you get a black marble. Now, it's very appropriate that those black marbles will take offense to this, because they think that they're being prejudiced against, right? Now, take the result of that signal, that filter, right, and apply that again to higher and higher levels of leadership. And you can see that it rapidly diminishes the probability of bringing, even if everything's equal, just the probability of bringing a minority up to those kinds of ranks and levels. So, what that means is that you need to employ racism to combat that effect. And that's the political process that is actually very dangerous, because that's what divides us. Because we're employing racism, overt racism, to say we want certain types of people here, regardless of anything else. And the people who are being denied that are getting resentful. Now, whether it's 10 white marbles in Kenya full of black marbles, or if it's 10 black marbles, in the United States, full of white marbles, the effect is the same, right? There's a huge resentment. And if you are politically astute, which is what we are today, we use that resentment, we use that anger, and we use the fear against each other for my own political benefit. That's the process that we're in. It is essential that we recognize it, because that's what's being used against us. And that's pitting us against each other, so we don't communicate what's actually happening. If we want to stop what's actually happening, we have to be able to communicate with each other at a very logical, impassionate, no emotion way. That we're not taking, offense because someone comes up and says, this is this. I'm speaking strictly mathematics. I mean, you can say, well, I don't believe mathematics. Well, okay. I mean, you can say that, but I don't know how far you're going to get in life if you say that, right? This is mathematics. That's the process. And so if you know that that's the result, now maybe we can come up with different strategies, to sort of minimize the effect, right? Because that's what we really want to do when we combat this stuff. We want to minimize this effect. Because we really do want a, egalitarian state, right? We really do want to have people in positions of authority and power that can relate to other people in minority positions. I mean, that's a real benefit. But we don't want to, I don't think, we don't want to employ racist techniques in order to accomplish that goal. That's the problem.
Thank you.
I forgot to remind people that, in this two-minute service, this Tuesday afternoon here at 2, welcome their Torah scrolls to their new home. Shoshana Brown Cantor said that will be low-key service, just 40 minutes. Jewish services often go 2 or 3 hours. So low-key service, 40 minutes, coffee and cake afterward. Feel no obligation, but we're all invited.
I'd just like to say that we have to say God bless to our Marines for 250 years of services. They're celebrating their services and our Vietnam veterans throughout our country. And of course, Veterans Day is Tuesday coming up, as we all have to think about that as we go further on that.
Is there a parade in the city this year?
Yeah, there's a parade, everything going on.
Monday,
Down
1
at
o'clock.
Yeah, down at the Bicentennial, all around that area from
I think it starts at 7
all down there, it's huge.
across from St. Anne's.
So depending on where you're coming from
Yes.
Tuesday,
Yes,
Yeah,
for the
Monday, right?
temples,
Yeah.
service, it nice and fun.
2 o'clock here.
Monday,
Is it Monday or Tuesday?
Monday, is it?
The Veterans Day is Tuesday.
No, that's parade.
I think it's Monday.
Monday,
Oh, it's a
or Tuesday, follow.
Yeah. Thanks for,
But they
thanks
are,
for bringing that up.
but they are having services.
It was Monday.
We'll have a prayer, after which we'll have a moment of silence. Spirit of life and love, be with us during this troubled time when hope feels beyond our reach, this troubled time when many things do not make sense to our hearts. Spirit of life and love, allow us the joy of our celebrations, where the trouble can be put aside, if only for a moment. Spirit of life and love, be with us as we keep the good against the bad, as we always find ways to open our hearts to others. Amen. Now we'll have our pastoral hymn, number 123. Now we'll have a moment of silence. Amen. Now we're going to do a different song than what's in your order of service.
Wait. Offering.
Wow. Oh, you want to give your money first? Okay. All right, give your money. Please be generous.
Never omit the offering, as they teach us in seminary.
Okay, now there's been a change from your order of service. The hymn we're actually going to sing is number 293, right, Nancy? Okay.
293.
293. O Star of Truth. Join me for our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame. Our benediction written by Cynthia Landrum. She's fairly new, I think. We leave this gathered community, but we don't leave our connection, our concerns, or our care for each other. Our service to each other, to the world, and to our faith continues until we are together again, friends. Be strong, be well, be true, and be loving. Amen.